Hey guys, it's Daniel Faust, one of your hosts from War Hero to Superhero, helping military, veterans, and first responders transform their lives from the bedroom to the boardroom. I am your host, the pixelated version of Daniel Faust. Welcome to Green Screens. I never thought black would go over and have trouble with green screens. So, anyway, let's jump into our content. So, if you've been connecting with us this week, we are reconnecting in the living room because we want you guys to go over and thrive as we go and get back to a new normal. And this week, our kids are leaving virtual school in the next few days. Like my child, Faith, my oldest daughter out of the four kids, is going over and having her parade graduation roughly around 1 o'clock tomorrow. And as they jump out of class, we need to enroll ourselves back to school connecting with our kids because we need to go over and get our bachelor's degrees in our kids because that's what's going to carry life. You might have a bachelor's degree in science and in business administration, even in structural design. No matter what the topic is, those degrees fade away within months to years and maybe a decade at max. The U.S. Department of Education says after 7 years, your educational degree plan goes away and it doesn't count. So the thing is at the end of the day, you might have the diploma to have the degree, but it might be non-compliant. Getting a bachelor's degree in your kids is always going to go over and carry, just like my pixelization is going to carry. So are you ready to enroll into our class? This class is live and right now. Our curriculum will help you fast track your degree in each kid. So today's particular topic is Back to School 300, PCS and Stay Connected, or PCS with Love, because you need ideas and we are the match to your idea bonfire. So this particular realm is about PCS. PCS, for you guys that are not military, or even if that you are and you haven't heard the term for a long time, means permanent changes station. We get a lot of the checklists to go over and get things done, and we go over and move and we get that. But the thing is, sometimes we forget about our family. So how do we stay connected in this particular regard? I couldn't find literally no articles about it. So I went over and read a lot of stuff on military spouse and read stuff on U.S. Coast Guard website, but there was nothing really out there that says how do you stay emotionally, mentally, and familia connected during this time. So I wanted to share some ideas with you and some tips to go stay connected because I've PCSed about, I'm going to say about 6 times and had about 70 moves. 70 jobs and about 36 moves in my life. So I'm not the expert, but I'm not a novice. So I wanted to go and share what things I went over and learned. And if you got anything to go over and add, we'd love to hear you in the comments to go do that. So let's go jump into the first connection tip. PCS Connect tip number one day, one solution at a time. We tend to go over and hard charge in PCSs and try to do so many things, especially in this COVID season on things totally changing, adapting and morphing, to go over and keep you connected to your family and for you to go over insane and not what I'm doing is pixelating everywhere. And you might be pixelating on your family if you're doing too much. Take it one day at a time, one solution at a time, so you can keep your stress low. So when you come out of that war room or boardroom and come back to the living room, even if it's in TLF, temporary lodging, or anywhere else, or in a makeshift house, or maybe living somewhere else, that you can go over and stay stress-free if you take it one day, one solution at a time. So that's your first one. Let's see in the comments if we have any ads to there. Richard Kaufman, thank you for going over and giving a comment. Hey, my brother, I'm glad to hear your voice. I would love for one day to be able to be on your show. Well, we do interviews, Richard, so get back with us. We still have 2 slots left for the War Hero to Superhero. And any of you veterans, military, and first responders that want to be uplifted, every 4th week of the month, we do interviews. So we have 5 interviews on the 4th week of the month. So go over and get back to me and go over and join. Going from there, PCS Connect tip number 2, 1 foot here and 1 foot there. Especially for kids, it can be really difficult for moves. Us as adults, it's hard at first. Like you go to basic training, but then once you go to tech school and you go to AIT or go to tech school or go to your next base, it kind of becomes a routine. and you do it every couple years. But us as kids, not me anymore, but as I was a kid, it was a huge move when I was 15 and I only moved 20 miles. Now that I've had 36 moves, it's a breeze. But the kids are so integrated into the system compared to us. We're mentally ready to move. They're mentally not. So as you get this PCS order, you want to keep 1 foot here and 1 foot there. And I'm going to contextualize this a little bit to each of the age groups too. So we're going to go a little deeper into this one. So if your kids are 0 to 5, our recommendation to you is answer only if they ask. Do they really know that they're going over and moving? You get the order 60, 90 days in advance? No. But it'd be better for them to go over and ask because their mind can't really conceptualize what's going on in general as in depth as the next ages. So I'd highly recommend that as they're asking the questions, you go over and then share it. You don't want to go over and lie, but there's a difference between being open and being honest. If you just go offload, it's kind of like going over and teaching a kid trig and he's only like 5 years old. It's just so much. Their mind's not there, their mind's not ready. So answer only if they ask you the questions. And you want to contextualize. Mommy and daddy are in the military, and daddy's or mommy's job, or both of us go over and move. So we're moving to a better place to go over and to grow in our job. Again, that might even be too complicated. So you have to really go think in the 0 to 5-year-old range and what the kid's age is. Obviously, the younger to the 0 part, there's no real reason to go over and explain it to a child, typically. You might have some extreme circumstances, but 0 to 5, our recommendation is answer if only if they ask. Going on from 5 to 12, which is all my kids in this block right now, regular briefs and make memories. And I don't mean undies. When I say regular briefs, it's like giving them regular briefings on what's going on. And as you're getting closer and each week that's passing, making memories in the place that you're at so then they can go over and carry that for a lifetime. We don't want to just say, hey, this place was bad and everything in between. We might have thought the base was bad, but they have a different perspective. They have a different view on life. So give them the information as you go and take little bit. Our most recent move, we had a briefing almost every day because things were constantly changing and saying, okay, this is what's next. We're going to start working on this. And we broke the task little bit by little bit. So day one would be like, and I had like a 60-day plan that I made. And each day was like, okay, day 1 and day 2, we're going to start getting rid of this stuff. And day 3 and day 4, we're going to go do this, and so on and so forth. So we gave them regular information. We allowed them to have a view. We allowed them to have a voice, but we didn't really much let them have a vote as much. And I'll go over that concept towards the end on overall on the reconnection in general and things. And last, if they're 13 to 18, which my son's reaching on this particular goal, is 13 to 18, let them help plan to go. So have them maybe be actively involved. Maybe have them go plan the PCS route if you're driving or flying or whatnot. Let them create their new lives there. It's already hard enough to uproot your life, but especially as a teen, now you have these stable relationships. You have maybe boyfriends, girlfriends, and deep friend relationships. Let them help plan to go. Maybe it needs to have a party before going. Maybe it's a celebration, that particular car. Maybe there's activities you can search on the internet and different things to go over and to do to get them excited so they start creating their own life. Get to know the school. Maybe you can go do a Zoom and go over and connect with the teachers and connect with the students. Maybe there's Facebook groups that they can go over and connect with. So let them help you make the plan because they're involved in this particular thing and it's part of their life. And your next PCS, they might not be with you. So let them plan to go. Maybe think about what things they can go over and do. Maybe you give them the freedom and they go over there and says, hey, you get full reign of going over and designing your room and I give you $500, whatever it is. Sorry for the pixelization, guys. We'll get this right. So going from there, PCS Connect tip number 3 is do your homework to make it easier. Your stress equals their stress. If you're just hitting this on the fly in the PCS and you're just trying to go as what your NCOs and the command section and the military personnel flight or whatever branch of the service is called at, or maybe your processing center, if you just go based on what everybody sends you, if those things stress you out, You're going to carry that stress from the boardroom to the living room, and it's going to be marinating in there. And more than likely, it's going to marinate in the bedroom too, so it's not going to make things any better. Let me see if I can position this just right. Nope, I am pixelating like crazy. All right. So going from there, you want to do your own homework in this particular regard. So it's definitely key to go over and work on it as much as you can, because if you're stressed out, they're stressed out, and that's not going to make good memories. And it's going to be a lot harder to connect when you go over and move. PCS Connect tip number 4, remain flexible. Go over, and things are going to constantly change. And especially with COVID and stop orders and different things, you got to go over and be flexible. Flexible with your finances, flexible with your schedule, flexible with the move. A normal PCS is already stressful enough. You go add COVID into that particular guard, things can go totally stop or ramp up and totally get going. So make sure that you stay flexible to go over and to thrive well in the season. PCS Connect tip number 5, save for the unforeseen. You might be going in this season right now. You might be going in the near future. The average rule of thumb is, if you, as enlisted, if you've been there 2 to 4 years, more than likely you're going to have orders. The longer you're there, the more than likely it's going to pop up infrequently. So save the unforeseen. Yes, the government travel card and the regulations and the joint travel federal regulation covers a lot of things, but there's a lot of things that are not going to be particularly covered. And especially if you're not military and you're a person like me, like you're an Air Reserve technician or you're a GS employee going over and watching this, the first PCS, there's not much covered. I had to shell out about $2,000 to $3,000 to go over and to make this move happen. They covered some things, but they don't cover all things, especially if it's a retirement PCS or compared to a separation PCS. There is several different things, so save for the unforeseen. So my recommendation to you, after having 20 years of service in, if I could do my PCSs over again, I would have saved $50 a month. Average that into about 2 to 4 years, you have $1,000 to $2,000. You get through the PCS, and if you didn't go over and use it, have a great PCS welcoming party, or buy some stuff that you were really excited to buy on that next PCS, and then start that account again. $50 a month is not much. $25 a paycheck. That's roughly $12.50 a week. Skip one coffee for one day of the week, and, well, skip coffee about 2 to 3 times a week. That's a lot, isn't it? So just skip something once or twice, maybe a meal out or whatever. And if you save that $50 for 2 to 4 years, you have a nice little nest egg to save for the unforeseen. And then if you get there, just have a PCS party and say, hey, celebration, we made it. PCS Connect tip number 6, establish hobbies before moving. We obviously get the notification either through the military personnel flight or your orders clerk, or maybe it's some other electronic system that you go over and use. And most time we have 60, 90, 120 days. And what is the first thing we do? We go home and share with our spouse. We're either pissed or we're excited. You know, it's usually never in between. We're not like ambivalent. It's very rare. And from there, we go over and we plan all the nicks and everything else, but we don't plan our lives. What's the next step? We have a lot of capability and capacity to help our kids go plan for these things. So when I took the job to come here to Delaware, I told the kids, I'm like, hey, we have about 90 days. There's not much to do in Dover, Delaware. You have to travel 60, 90, 2 hours to do something that's worthwhile. You need to start creating your hobbies. Are you wanting to go bike riding? Do you like over and drawing? Do you like playing Minecraft? Do you like to go over and are you more a friend type person? Or are you a task type person? You know, helping yourself and helping your kids establish hobbies before moving makes it a lot easier, because COVID for us has really restricted our relationships here. We had a decent amount in Arizona, but here it's just like, we got here, it's a reserve job. The majority of the people relationally are not here during the month. Active duties on another side of the base. You have so many different factors coming in, and then now you have COVID-19. And people are going to stay socially distanced. So it might take 3, 6 months, even a year to establish those new relationships that become friendship relationships. So for your kids, it might be more difficult. They can be in a class of 30 kids and be totally alone. One of my kids are struggling with that right now. He's in 30 people in the classroom, and he's by himself. So establish those hobbies before moving to go give your kids the social, mental, emotional fitness to have them to go over and thrive. PCS Connect tip number 7. Get there first, celebrate after. This one's a COVID-19 specific tip. It's already hard enough with the PCS and everything as is. And a lot of times we go over and plan to go over and to do the ride and then go and get there. A lot of bases are saying like, hey, we need you to get there like ASAP, you know? So it's better to go over and to get there first. That's our recommendation. You take it where you want. You'll work with your command, of course. But getting there first is going to make it a lot easier in the stressors if you just go over and get there and get it over. Because more than likely, you're going to run into a 14-day quarantine, depending on what state and what base that you're at. And that could be exhausting. You could do all the fun on the front end in the sense of your PCS trip, and then you're stuck for 14 days. And you spent all your budget, and now you have nothing up to look up except for 14 days of isolation, and now you're back into work. Boom, you're all set, but your kids are like, your wife is like, or your husband's like. And the thing is that if you go over and get there first and then work with them and say, hey, sir or ma'am, hey, we came straight here. We were in the 14-day isolation. I'd like to be able to take a couple days leave to go over and to celebrate that we got here and do something specific that's maybe in the community. Maybe you have a housewarming. Maybe it's going over and connecting with friends that maybe you knew from past bases. Maybe it's just going on a mini vacation, whatever it is. But our recommendation is that because 14 days can be a long time in isolation. Me and my wife and the kids, we were on 8 days and we didn't have COVID. My wife just had the cold. That's it. And 8 days is a long time to be in isolation. And after all this COVID stuff, yeah, have that momentum to get there first and then celebrate after. Again, this is our recommendation. Get back with your command and your local staff to go over and see what works out for you. But to go over and just to give you a tip that would help you potentially thrive, go over and do that, because in the mindset, that's a long time to go over and be trapped. So next one, to maybe leverage the one about get there first, but make it more fun and make you safe at the same time. RV rental helps social distancing. So you can go over and rent RVs. We gave some recommendations yesterday. You can go back to our yesterday link on what RV website there is, but you can also do Cruise America and go over and do that. So now you get the benefit of both worlds. You don't have to have all the restrictions of the hotel, the times to get in, everything else. You get the fun of like going camping or driving in big parking lots. And then you can go connect more deeper as a family before you go into the full, if you have to go into full isolation or full school mode if you're coming in, because depending on PCS season, you might be coming within days of school and you're like, hey, I got to get here 14 days prior. Now the kids go from 14 days isolation to total school mode. And you're like, that's a lot to go jump into. So utilize the RVs to go over and to rent. And then I can help social distancing and go over and help you connect more as a family. Going from there, let's check the comments real quick because we have a few more. Eric Zuli, hey Daniel, good stuff. We shared to Easy Way TV page. Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. PCS Connect tip number 9, determine the kids' essentials together. We can military kind of go on a plan and then we can take over, especially as military members. We can just go over and say, this is this and this and everything else. And I'm guilty of that, of going into rooms and being like, oh, yeah, I haven't seen you use this in a couple of days. It's gone. Woo! Instead of going over and doing that and taking that gung-ho mentality of coming in the house, like after a long day of work and you're like, all right, we're doing this, da, da, da. It's better to go over and to work with your kids to determine your kids' essentials. We did this on the last one. We're like, hey, kiddos, you got like 3 days to go over and determine what you're wanting. Put in a special pile, special backpack, special place in the house. And this is the things that are going to be essential that you want to keep. And also things for the ride, because the drive for us was like 7 days. And 7 days in a car without your favorite stuffed animal, that could be torture, not just for them, but for you too. So determine your kids' essentials together, work that together. You'll be able to find out more little nuances of your child, as you're having those conversations, you might find out, why is that stuffed animal so important? What goes over makes it resonate, what they go over and like and don't like. Maybe they have some time to have those deeper connection conversations as you're going over and doing that. And then maybe you can then determine some essentials. Like maybe you can put a small budget aside and say, what is essentially you want for the car? Maybe they don't have it. Maybe there's a stuffed animal that could be a PCS stuffed animal that you can go over and give them. We do that on deployments. Like there's bears and toys and things you can go program your voice so they remember you and stay connected. You can do the same thing and make a PCS memory type bear. I don't know if it exists, but if you coin the idea, get back with me. I'd love to go and leverage it. Next one, PCS Connect tip number 10, stick to the mileage, especially for the young kids. Joint travel federal regulation in most branches is 350 miles a day. I'm pretty sure because it's joint travel federal regulation that it would be the JTFR. Last I know, it was 350 to 400 miles a day. Go double check the reg. But especially for safety, sanity, bathroom breaks, especially if you have 0 to 5 or the young 5 to 12 mentality, it's very much worthwhile. Then technically, if you don't have your spouse driving with you and you go past that mileage or even yourself, you're not covered under the life insurance. So keep your life balanced and go towards that 350. It might take a little longer, but now with COVID-19, you're already going to be on isolation for 14 days, depending on the base, depending on what you call it. You might as well just maximize the travel days. And if you also get there early and you file your order, you don't get paid for those days. So if you go over and you have, let's say, 1,050 miles and you say, we can do it in 2. I just need to get away from the kids. We just need to get in there and get done. Now you gypped yourself a day fiscally. Now your kids are super cranky. It's going to take a couple of days. And now you're potentially on isolation. I wouldn't recommend it. Again, you guys always have a choice here. We always want to serve you well, but this is from experience from so many PCSs that, stick to the mileage because it's going to help you in the long run to go over and have better kids. They're already getting thrown off their schedule and everything else. Hey, 350 a day keeps the kids at bay. Couple tips more. PCS Connect tip number 11, scrapbook memories before and on the trip there. More of your sentimental kids, your nurturing style kids are going to look for that significance and that connection. So for them, they like to go over and have those memories. So even though you're like, it's a digital world and phones and everything else, tangible items, especially if you have more of a nurturing style kid, they like to have tangible sentimental items. So if your kids are that way and they like those types of things, do some scrapbook memories. It goes to have fun. When you're doing shoulder to shoulder stuff, you connect on a deeper level. Face to face is always best, but especially for young kids learning how to do that face to face, shoulder to shoulder is great. Go work on a scrapbook together. You do your page, they do their page. You bring a book great together as you take those photos and print them out on your favorite website. And then when you come, and then now that you're in, isolation, maybe you print out those photos and then you have like a half a day project to keep your sanity during that time of isolation, during quarantine. We got one more for you. PCS Connect tip number 12. Get your kids connected to the new place as you get closer to the move. So again, this is contextualized more to the 5 to 12 and above, is that it's hard enough to move as is. So they had their friends and they want to stay planted, and they mentally stay planted in probably, especially if you're more of a blueprint type child. And get back with me if you want to understand more. Go watch prior lessons on this. If you have a blueprint child, they look for systems, they look for structures, they look for things. And the nurturing kids really like relationships and significance. Those two types of kids, it can be very difficult for them to go over into connect into new environment. It could take weeks to months if you just go throw them in because they're like, I don't know how to structure this. The kids are really complicated, whatever it is, the relationships. So as you're getting closer, do a Zoom with the teachers. Maybe jump in the particular Air Force Base community page and let them connect. Maybe there's parents that you can connect with, then they have kids and they get to meet them on Zoom or in there, and then also do internet searches together of that place and what things to do and to not do, and make it exciting for them to go over and to want to go over and move if your kids are having difficulty. I know my kids were really wanting to go remove, and now it's like they're pretty much we're done with moving with Arizona, and that was where we were going to settle. So it was really a rough spot for us, and we had to, up the ante in that regard. And especially the different type of child that you have, they're going to be looking for more things. So put those things in the quiver to go get them excited to go and move. So that's an option. So that is pretty much it on our PCS Connect tips. We'd love to go hear what you have because you guys are PCSing right now. It is hightail season. Maybe you just got in a few days ago, like one of my friends in the Army went from Germany to Texas. So what ideas did you have to stay connected as family during this crazy season of PCS? We never had anything like this. PCS could be pain, chaos, and stress. Instead, you can make it purpose, comfort, and solidarity connecting. So that was an acronym on the fly. So we'd love to go hear what ideas that you had to stay connected as a family, maybe if they are now or maybe back in the past. And our superhero challenge to you, as always, is to share favorite photos of your PCS. We love to go over and see them. You can share them on the War Hero to Superhero page or on the Learn and Live page. Learn and Live is the master company. War Hero to Superhero is the brand of the TV show. And if we always want to tell you this, is that we hope this information is connecting with you. We'll check comments real quick before we get to the end. 1 second. All right. LaPortia says, oh, thank you. LaPortia, thank you for connecting me with someone. All right. Whoop, I'm pixelated again. Boop, let me see if I can get myself back. Nope. All right. So our superhero challenge again is to share your favorite photos of your PCS, your permanent change of station. So, and if you're struggling as a military member, either in the living room or in the boardroom or in the bedroom, we'd love to go and connect with you. We give 20 minutes free consultation for all first-time military veterans, first responders going over and connecting with us. And if you want to jump your life to the next level and you want to be a marriage superhero, or as we're talking about today, a family superhero or a leadership superhero, or you really want to jump in really hard and get into the superhero sanctum to really get everything in order, right down there is our Patreon. You can check it out. It's patreon.com/thrive not survive. As little as $5 a month. It helps us support you and support us at the same time to get you guys to thrive and not just survive. So we'd love for you to go check that out. We do have a multitude of services. You can just get back with us and direct message us if you are struggling. I know in the comments it'd be weird to be like, hey, you don't have to do that. You can direct message me. So we hope this goes over and serves you. We hope you have a great day. Tomorrow we have a great guest. John Rankin's going to help you vacation well and connect with your family in this season on reconnecting back into society. Because we truly are. Starting next week, the majority of the bases and also the civilian population are going back. There's already about 35 states open. So we hope that you are reconnecting well. And if you're having problems with reconnecting, we'd love to go over and serve you. So thank you for watching. Please go like, share, and comment. All right. Have a great day.